aid the military junta. In Uganda, it's the only country in Africa where you don't have a working hospital, where there are no schools, where there are no roads, but the brutal dictator is being given £1 billion every year. He is the richest man in Africa, 13.5 billion pounds rich. But still the UK takes your taxpayer and my taxpayers' money to fund the brutal dictator of Uganda. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
We are here to expose Christopher Damurira, Mariamu, a Sandhurst trained so-called soldier, turned to be a murderer in Uganda. Damurira Numuseven. Damurira.
Christopher Damurira.
And Muhozi. These are the people at the forehand of murdering, torturing, kidnapping, raping, sodomizing Ugandans. And we are here today, standing at our own building, but a representative of repression in Uganda. We are here to show you some of the evil this man has done to Uganda. 42 years of dictatorship in Uganda. 42 years of murder in Uganda. 42 years of the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. The junta of Uganda. Museveni, a murderer. We are here today to expose his crimes against humanity. We are not here because we are jobless.
Make sure you share
we
it,
are
yeah?
here because of the cause.
I'm from Kenya.
That this man holding his
Please share it.
is a Sandhurst trained soldier, trained, but when he went back to Uganda, he's a murderer. He's killing Ugandans. He's murdering Ugandans. He's raping Ugandans. And this is a Sandhurst trained in the UK, the best military academy in the world. That's why we are here today, to call on the UK government to stop the training of the junta thugs from Uganda. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
That's why today we are here as Ugandans, to condemn the human rights abusers in Uganda, to condemn the kidnapping of Ugandans in Uganda on a daily basis by the brutal dictator Museveni and his commander, Damurira Christopher, a UK trained at Sandhurst. That's why we are here with this poster today. This is the notorious man involved in the murdering of Ugandans, the kidnapping of Ugandans in Uganda. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
We are here today as a Ugandan community in the UK.
Yes.
To stand and represent the 47 million Ugandans who cannot demonstrate, who cannot stand on the street as we are standing today, to expose the human rights abuses in Uganda.
Yeah.
To expose the criminality, the injustice in Uganda.
The impunity.
The impunity in Uganda. Corruption in Uganda. With no accountability. Your money is sent to Uganda to make the brutal dictator richer and richer. At the cost of 13.5 billion rich, still the UK is sending your money and my money to Uganda. That money is being used in good causes here in the UK by supporting our policemen and making sure that our homeless brothers and sisters have got accommodation instead of sending our money to the brutal junta in Uganda. We've been living under the junta regime for the last 42 years. In the UK, we've changed 13 prime ministers. In Uganda, we are still living under the same junta, the military dictator, Museveni of Uganda. 42 years is more than enough.
Look at him.
We live under brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda.
Old.
We live under brutal junta Museveni of Uganda. We live under the brutal dictatorship for the last 42 years. And that's why today we are here to expose that the UK shouldn't be funding, supporting the brutal dictator of Uganda, Museveni.
True.
They shouldn't be training the military thugs from Uganda.
No.
We've got an example. The post I'm holding in my hand.
Yeah.
Christopher Mariamu is a Sandhurst-trained soldier. But when he went back to Uganda, he's the head of criminal intelligence, whereby Ugandans, men and women, are being tortured to death. Men and women are being raped. Men and women are being murdered by the Sandhurst-trained soldier. That's why today we are here trying to expose the brutal dictator. Trying to highlight that we should stop the training of military thugs from Uganda. M23 in Congo.
This is the man we're fighting. So that's the man. That's the dictator.
M23 is the dictator. Is being armed by Museveni.
40 years in power.
Your taxpayers' money is going to arm a rebellion in the Congo.
There's so many big TVs here. And there are so many demonstrations goes in this country. But some TVs, those big TVs, like a BBC, like whatever, they can go on other demonstrations. But they never come on ours. Can I say that you don't see us or you don't hear us?
You heard.
Because I never see any big TV here. Do we need to call you?
Yes.
Or you are supporting as well? I call everybody who has humanity in himself to come and join us and send away this brutal dictator. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, thank you. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
We are Ugandan community who are standing in front of the so-called Uganda High Commission, a representative of repression in Uganda, being supported by the brutal dictator, the junta of Uganda, Museveni.
This house we are standing.
From Uganda. For some of you who doesn't know where Uganda stands, Uganda is a beautiful country in Africa, very rich in minerals, but being misruled by a brutal dictator, a junta who has been in power for the last 42 years. Most of you, you are not born yet that time. Ugandans have been suffering, being tortured. Women are being raped. Men are being sodomized. In Uganda, when we talk about democracy, in Uganda it's just history. For the last 42 years, the junta in Uganda, the brutal dictator Museveni, the richest man in Africa, at a cost of 13.5 billion rich.
Imagine.
This is your money. That is my money. You send to Uganda every day, funding, supporting the brutal dictator of Uganda. 42 years in power is more than enough. 42 years of dictatorship in Uganda. We've had dictators around the world, but we have the longest brutal junta in Uganda. Museveni, the brutal dictator, the kidnapper, the murderer, a man who lives on blood. We are talking about democracy. 42 years cannot be called democracy. In the UK, we've changed 13 prime ministers. In Uganda, we still live under the same brutal dictator. For the last 42 years,
can you
the junta
imagine?
is still in power. In America, they've changed 9 presidents. In Uganda, the same brutal dictator. When you talk about democracy in the UK, that is double standard. You are sending £1 billion to Uganda to support this brutal dictator, to make this brutal dictator stay and serve his long time in power. The money you send to Uganda goes to build death torture chambers where men and women are being tortured to death, where men and women are being murdered, where men and women are being killed. This is Uganda. We are standing at the repression. This is, in other words, is a crime scene where we are standing. The flag you see represents repression in Uganda. The flag you see represents blood in Uganda. The flag you see represents dictatorship in Uganda. For the last 42 years, Ugandans are living under this brutal dictator. Even the brutal dictator of Burma is better than the brutal dictator in Uganda. At least in Burma, you have got schools, you have got hospitals, but not in Uganda. But you talk about the Burmese dictator, but you don't talk about Museveni of Uganda, the cult of Uganda, a military dictator who has been in power for the last 42 years. Your tax money and my tax money is making this brutal dictator to become richer and richer. 13.5 billion rich, the richest man in Africa.
Imagine.
This is the richest man in Africa.
In a
but
very
still the UK is still funding this brutal dictator. Still the UK is training the military thugs who are raping Ugandans on daily basis. The UK is supporting and training the military evil thugs from Uganda. This picture I'm holding in my hands, this brutal man, he was trained in Sandhurst. And this is the commander of the CMI in Uganda, where Ugandans are being tortured, where Ugandans are being murdered, women are being raped by these specialists, military trained in the UK. He gained his training in Sandhurst. And this is the same man torturing Ugandans. And that's why today we are here, calling on the UK government
this guy is
to stop the training of these military thugs from Uganda, to stop the funding of the military thugs from Uganda. By the UK taxpayers' money, your money and my money goes to train militias. This is the commander of the special forces called Damuli.
Abo be bannayuganda abawangalira mu ggwanga lya Bungereza bagezaako okulwanirira eddembe lya munnayuganda Mariamungu Christopher Damulira okuwamba abannayuganda abatalina musango ng'oli wansi w'ebiragiro bya Mwami Museveni. Ebintu biti tetujja kubikkiriza fenga bannayuganda, tetujja kukkiriza butali bwenkanya na kugenda mu maaso. Abantu bangi be muwambye, abantu bangi be musaanyizaawo obulamu bwabwe, abantu bangi. Mutabani wa Museveni gye buvuddeko yavaayo ne yeewaana, nga yeewaana nti abantu basse bali 30,000, ng'alaba abantu bano basse batono nnyo mu ggwanga Uganda. Naye tweyanza nnyo bannayuganda abawangalira amawanga ag'enjawulo abasobola okuvaayo ne mwekalakasa, kuba ffe nga bannayuganda abawangalira mu ggwanga erya Uganda tetulina ddembe lya kwekalakasa ku butali bumativu bwonna bwe tukola obutukolwako mu ggwanga Uganda. Naye ng'ate abantu abatalina musango, bannayuganda ba political prisoners abamaze emyaka egisoba mu 5 nga bali mu nkomyo bonna bali eyo tebalina musango tebawozesebwa tebasalirwa musango emyaka gino gyonna naye obutali bwenkanya buno bwonna bugenda mu maaso mu ggwanga Uganda naye ffe bannayuganda bawangalira mu ggwanga Uganda tetusobola kubyogerako bino kubanga bw'obyogererako woofiira era twebaza nnyo bannayuganda bawangalira mu mawanga g'ebweru abavaayo okwekalakasa ku butali bumativu buno abantu bonna mu nsi yonna ne balaba ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga Uganda. Bano be bannayuganda bali mu ggwanga lya Bungereza ne bali mu magezaako okulaga obutali bumativu bannayuganda we bayisibwamu. Tubeebaza nnyo tubeebaliza ddala.